The theme Chronicle is still happening, and I have 3 more decks to show you, because honestly, I love this event, and why not show you more decks, more stuff to do. So here we have Warrock, which, if you don't know, Warrock is an Earth Warrior deck that utilizes the battle phase to generate advantage. In theory. In practice, it just kind of like hopes and prays that the opponent doesn't read their cards and goes from there. But basically, all of them have effects that center around the battle phase. Fortia, after damage calculation, searches a card. Mahmood pops a card after damage calculation. Meteoragon allows you to like negate after you declare an attack, as well as can make a second attack. Basileos can like attack directly. Gokdos special summons itself, and Wento has damage modulation. We're also playing Pyrite Knight, which is a cool card that just like bounces a Earth Warrior to then special summon itself, give your opponent a token, but then you can special summon it during the battle phase, another warrior from hand. So it's fairly decent and just puts like extra bodies onto the field, which is nice. And we're planning to go second, so we're playing things like Pankratops, we're playing Nibiru, we're playing things like board wipes such as Dark Hole, Raigeki, Harpies, Feather Duster, etc. And that's pretty much it. We're also playing a few cards like Warrock Mountain, Warrock Medium, and Dignity, and the like. So that's pretty much it. If you don't know what these cards do, it's not really that important because they're pretty minuscule. I guess Warrock Mountain searches a card, that's like the biggest thing to know. As for the extra deck, it doesn't really matter, don't really worry too much about it. But that's going to be it. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going second, and honestly our hand is pretty good. Minus this card. I don't know why I'm playing it. Well, it doesn't matter because now it's going to the grave. And my opponent reveals that they're on Lightsworn, so let's see what they can do here. They're going to mill a whole bunch of cards. Out comes the Dragonling. They're going to go for the Dragonling here. They're going to activate. It's in fact sending the Aegis, which is kind of funny because it is a negate, so it's like fairly decent, but like kind of funny to just send that. Generally, you send a monster to get more mills, and you just hope to mill this kind of thing. They go for the Minerva. They're going to send a bunch more cards here. Out comes Judgment Dragon. They're going to activate another one of the charges of the Light Brigade to grab up Wolf, which is very funny. Wolf was milled, so they're going to send that. They're also going to do another charge of the Light Brigade to grab up a Weiss, which I believe that is all 3 of the charges. Yeah, they literally activated all 3, which is crazy. So there's that. They're going to then summon out Weiss. Out comes Minerva, and count how many cards are currently in their deck. That's right, 7. Uh-oh. Now, if you don't know, all of the Lightsworns have mandatory effects that say send cards to the graveyard during the end phase. So, yeah, I just have to pass the turn here. And I think my opponent realizes this and just surrenders. So, Warrocks. So powerful, it makes the opponent surrender without doing anything. Incredible. Alright, now what do Warrocks actually do? Okay, here we are going first, because my opponent decided to make me go first, for some reason, and you'll be very surprised when you actually see what they're playing. So we're going to start off here by going Warrock Medium to set the Warrock Mountain, which is then going to search out a monster. I should have set Dignity since I already had the Mountain in hand. I don't know why I didn't. Doesn't matter. We're grabbing up Wento because it's just like the biggest guy. And that's pretty much it. My opponent's going to go for the Magical Meltdown and grab up Alistair. I do not know. I could not tell you as to why my opponent decided to go second. I have no idea. Even looking at their deck list, I still have no idea. Anyway, they're going to go for the Psy Reflector here, which is a really cool combo because this card is basically just any Synchro monster, pretty much. It's really, really cool. So out comes the Alistair. They're going to normal summon it and then go into the link off the Alistair into the Artemis. Artemis is then going to be used to make Mechaba. Hooray! And then they're going to go for the Psy Reflector here. And at this point, the Nibiru is just dead, so there's not really a point in using it, because Mechaba can just negate it. They're going to reveal the Assault Mode, activate, special summon this guy, and make a 9, which happens to be Vermilion Dragon Mech, which is very funny, because I haven't seen this since, like, Virtual World. They're going to pop my Warrock Mountain, tragic. We're just going to boost the Wento, which apparently my opponent just doesn't know how to read cards or activate cards in any meaningful capacity, because not only did they have one way to stop this, they could have negated it with Mechaba, they also could have just activated the Alistair in hand, pitching it to boost by 1,000, and then just get over the Wento, which they, again, decided not to do. So there's that. They also could have just attacked with Vermilion Dragon Mech, and then I wouldn't have been able to deal with that. Like, it's just bigger. So Yeah, they had several ways to just keep the Mecha, and they just decided not to. Anyway, out comes Nibiru. Is this the correct play? No, I have Pank in hand. It would have been better to summon Pank, but it's funnier, and that's the important part. We draw the third mountain. Hilarious. We're going to grab up the Fortia here. We're going to normal summon the Fortia, and then we're going to set Dignity. I don't know why I do this during the main phase. One, I should say, but alas, it's fine. We're going to search out the Basileos off of the Fortia. I could have potentially searched out something else that might have been a little bit better, but honestly, there's not really much that's better. At this point, we're just kind of hoping and praying we don't immediately die, but we do have Dignity, so there's that. They're going to go for the Side Reflector. That seems like an opposite negate, so I'm going to negate that, and my opponent just concedes. Yes, War Rocks do have a negate. It's just very bad. Just don't look at it. It's fine. Alrighty, mateys. The second deck we have, Doobie Bee and Plunder. That's right, Plunder is like fully playable in this event because it actually is part of the solo mode, which is great. Generally, with these events, Plunder is just like entirely slaughtered, mostly due to like extra deck restrictions and stuff like that. But this is one of the few times where we actually can play Plunder. Wind Ship when? That's right. However, with that being said, let's quickly go through the card by card and the explanation. First of all, we don't have Kaijus, so instead we're substituting it with Santa Claus. That's it. Like the only real difference between the rest of our deck. The rest is just like hand traps and stuff like that. We're playing Pot of Desires, which is notable. If you don't know what the Plunders do, they basically utilize monster effects like Redbeard, Whitebeard, and Blackbeard in order to tag out into their monsters, depending on what the opponent has in their grave or on their field, according to the attributes. So, for example, if they have a Light Engrave, you can tag out into Liss, Fire, Bran, an Earth, Yord, or a Dark Moark, or a Water into Blackbeard as well. And the idea is that all of these generate advantage if they are equipped with an additional card, and on top of that are some sort of disruption. Liss is a monster negate, as well as it can special summon a guy from hand or face-up spell and trap card zone. We have Bran, which is a monster, or not a monster, a spell trap removal. We have Yord, which is a special summon, right? So if your opponent does something, you can like add cards and special summon cards and stuff like that. It just generates additional advantage. We have Moark, which is able to banish an effect monster, and then we have Blackbeard, which also like draws a card and tags out into other cards, which is very nice. And it's basically just facilitating that, and then playing a bunch of non-engine to potentially draw into and utilize to slow the opponent down. That's basically it. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. All right, so here we are going first with both the Molcharmies in our hand, but we did end up actually drawing pretty well. So we're going to start off here with the normal summon of Whitebeard, 2 special summon Bluebeard, and then go into Yord. Whitebeard and Bluebeard are both going to trigger. We're going to draw a card, which is pitch Fua to grab Fua. You'll love to see it. We're also going to special summon here the Redbeard, and my opponent's going to imperm that, but that's actually pretty okay. I know this doesn't seem like a lot, because it's honestly technically not, but it's actually pretty good. Anyway, my opponent's going to start off here with Duality, and I'm like, okay. And they reveal one of the worst cards that they could possibly reveal, Ice Dragon's Prison. So that's not great for me. Anyway, they're going to go for the Lord of the Heavenly Prison set 2, and then go for Ariane, and I'm like, Dark! Now, if you don't know, Dark allows us to go into Moark, and Moark is pretty dang good. So we're going to pitch another Bluebeard and just banish that immediately, mostly to grab up the Shipyard, and I'm almost certain that they don't really have anything else, so there's that. So yeah, there's that. We ended up drawing as well an Ash Blossom off of the Bluebeard, so I'm feeling pretty good. They immediately shotgun the Ice Dragon's Prison and banish the Moark. You'll love to see it, because Yord now triggers, which gets sent by a Solemn Strike. And then they're going to go for this, and I'm going to Perulia them, because I kept the Perulia in hand, so I get a draw card, which is, like, hilarious, and it's a not great one. But they set another Ice Dragon's Prison, which is kind of funny. We're going to go for the Black Eyes here. Black Eyes is going to target one monster in the grave, and add it to our hand, and then we're going to grab up the Redbeard. I kind of goof here, and I end up making, like, Blackbeard. I equip here, it doesn't really do anything, but I do make the Moark, so that at the very least I can banish this guy and grab up the Booty, which gives us an additional form of something. I also summon the Yellow Hair here so that they can't actually grab it, since I really needed tuner access. Realistically, I should have like grabbed the Blackbeard or the Bluebeard off of the Black Eyes there, but it's fine for the most part. Anyway, yeah. Basically, I ended up grabbing Golden Hair and using it mostly so that I have the ability to, like, so that I have a tuner access, so that they don't, like, Ice Dragon's Prison and banish this. Because, of course, they're going to banish the Moark again. Why would they not? I'm also only playing 2 Moark. I could have played 3, but I don't know. I don't really feel like it's all that necessary. My opponent just concedes there after activating the Ice Dragon's Prison. Because I think they realized, like, they don't really have anything. So, sure, they could banish the Moark, but, like, that doesn't really do anything. So, yeah, good game. Alright, and Paleo is the last deck we're talking about, because for some reason, basically all of the Paleo cards are unhit. The only one that is a notable hit is Rollback, which does matter a ton. Transaction Rollback is incredibly useful in this deck. However, with that being said, you don't technically need it to play Paleo, and Paleo has a ton of other options as well. Also, Grass is banned, but like, I don't think Grass is actually all that useful here. Even though we are playing well above 50, or well above 40, I still don't think Grass is all that useful, mostly due to the fact that, like, you don't have as many graveyard interaction, or like graveyard effects that you want to resolve. It's mostly like, you want the cards in the hand. I'm still playing Reasoning, though, because Reasoning, being able to summon any of these guys, is very, very useful. And it still puts, like, the traps in grave, most notably the Paleos, which is fine. But we also are playing a lot more monsters as well than in normal. So there's that. I'm not going to go through the card by card. If you know what the Paleos do, they basically special summon themselves and then are unaffected by monster effects if a trap is activated, so that's very useful. And then they also have some minor effects here. Being able to banish by discarding a card, being able to send a trap, popping a card, putting a card face down, returning from the banish zone, lots of stuff like that. And then the rest are just like staple powerful traps to activate and all of that. So that's pretty much it. We're also playing Magicalitis Soul, which I haven't talked about before, which basically special summons itself if you activate a trap to special summon a card. And then during the battle phase, or during the opponent's battle phase, you can synchro summon or you can exe summon, which we can either go into something like Herald of Arclight, or we could go into like a Nopinia to protect. We could also go into Merry Melfi as well to bounce a card, which is very, very useful, and probably what we would summon more often than Herald. We also have the Statue of Sacred Dragon. Both of these came out in not the most recent set, but the one right before that. So I haven't talked about them yet, but this one is also pretty good. You can summon it off of Soldier Dragons, and then it's just like protection from combat, as well as it puts itself into the Pendulum Zone, and then it also special summons itself by returning a card to the hand via, or if you special summon it via a trap effect. So for example, a Paleo that summons itself via that effect, you can special summon this guy and then return a card as well by targeting it. So that's pretty nice. The rest of the cards are pretty simple. Just Anomalicaris to pop cards, Opabinia to search cards. Pretty simple there. And then that's pretty much it. Let's hop into the replay and show you how the deck performed. Alright, so here we are going first, and I am going to show you arguably one of the worst players I think I've ever seen. So there's that. But just stick with me. We're going to get Ashed here, which is fine because now we can go for the Soldier Dragon. And yeah, we're just going to get the Laundry Dragon Maid. We're going to mill 3 more, which is actually pretty good mills. And then we're going to make Hieratic Seal here. And just pass the turn with the Trap Trick. We do have quite a few interactions actually off of this, so I'm not too upset here. My opponent's going to go for the Magician Rod to grab up the Eternal Soul, which is kind of interesting. And then they're going to go for the Dark Magic Circle, to which I will just bounce it. And then we will summon the Soldier Dragons. I'm going to go for the Trap Trick here because I'm like, oh, I have like a few options here. But then I remembered I actually put in Heavy Storm Duster into this deck, which is not what you saw, but I actually put it in Heavy Storm Duster because there was like a lot of back row that I wanted to hit. Not specifically this, but there's like a bunch of other stuff, like the Rika cards and the Orcus cards and stuff like that. There's a lot of back row just in general in this. So I was like, oh yeah, like having access to Heavy Storm Duster would not be bad, right, off of like a Trap Trick. So I ended up playing 2 of them. And my opponent just didn't set their cards. They just didn't. They're really scared of this Heavy Storm Duster. So I'm like, okay. Do you have a second Ash? Oh, you don't? Great, fantastic. Draw 2, gonna put the card back, and then just set 2 and pass. Very good for me. Also, incredible draws. The Needlebug Nest is okay, but like it does trigger a thing, and Daruma's insane. So my opponent's gonna go for the Soul Servant, yeah, and then stack the card instead of, doing something reasonable, and then immediately they're gonna normal summon Magician's Rod and just add secrets. Yeah! Dark Magician players, am I right? Oh, they're great. Anyway, we're going to go for the Morella off of the Needlebug Nest, and then we're going to mill a whole bunch of cards. Great mills, by the way. Most notably, this guy. Also, you might be wondering why I decided to do this the way that I did, by immediately firing the Needlebug Nest. And very simple, but by doing this, I am able to play around the Dark Magicians, because I can, like, send a bunch of cards, and then I can just Daruma Karma Cannon, flip everything face down if they, like, go to combat, which then wouldn't trigger the Dark Magicians to, like, draw a card. So that was more so what I was playing around there. Anyway, they summon out Master of Chaos, not what I was expecting, but they're going to special summon out the Dark Magician. I'm going to go for the Backjack here to stack the top of my deck, and, yeah, we'll just reorder that. I don't remember what the order was. But out comes the Dark Magician. They're going to attempt to banish a card. They banish the Heavy Storm Duster. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just pop it. And then special summon an Olenoids. Anyway, we're totally fine here. So yeah, we'll just pop that one, and then they will go or attempt. Sorry, they're going to draw a card here off of the Soul Servant. They're going to go to combat, attack here with the Magician's Rod. Now, notably, this is the one that could have been flipped face up off of the Daruma, but now it's just going to be face down. So that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Anyway, we special summon a guy. Everything goes face down. That's right. We're all going to take a nap. So yeah. Fantastic. We also have now 4 bodies as well, which is crazy. I'm going to go for the back check here as well, because we did end up hitting the Ice Dragon's Prison, which I ended up putting on the top of the deck. And yeah, that's insane here because, hey, nice Dark Magician. Anyway, my opponent decides to commit the heinous crime of flipping up Eternal Soul without a target, realistically. And now that's going to kill them. So, there's that. I don't know. They didn't even search anything. They just added it. They just flipped it face up. I wish I could explain the thought process behind it, but I don't think there was one. Anyway, I'm going to pop the face up card that nukes the opponent's field. Why did this card have this text? I wish I could tell you, but I don't get it. They added the Dark Magical Circle, which, again, is, like, really bad against Anomalicaris. But I guess they couldn't have added Soul Servant because they banished it to draw a card. So, like, there's that. Anyway, we're going to go for the Opabinia here. We're going to search up the Olenoids. I'm going to then fire said Olenoids into the back row because I'm, like, worried about it. And it also puts a guy onto my field, which is the main purpose of this. And guess what guess what it was? Destined Rivals. Because of course it was. Anyway, we reveal and mill the Magical Light out, which is actually not bad because it can still special summon itself from grave, but not great. Anyway, we have a pretty good set of cards. We're just going to go and pop the Dark Magical Circle, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, my opponent is then going to go for the Magician Souls, and let's do the skill check together. Now, normally, you would special summon the card, right? Like, that's generally what we do. It's just better in general, because you get to, like, send a card, and then you special summon this, and then you draw cards. However, here, realistically, we should probably, like, special summon a Dark Magician, right? In theory, that's pretty good. Except for the fact that they know about the Ice Dragon's Prison, so maybe like special summoning wouldn't be that good of an idea. Maybe we need to like draw a card to potentially draw into like I don't know a Soul Servant or something like that. Let's see, but no, of course, it's always this one. Why am I even acting like there was any other opportunity for them to do anything else? I'm gonna just grab their other Dark Magician, special summon my guy, and banish both of those. However, I don't think we're even gonna get that far. I think I get halfway through this chain and they just concede. Bro saw a click button and just clicked it. Every time. Alright, so once again, 3 more very interesting and very fun decks. All 3 very different as well. From Warrock, that is aiming to go second, to Paleo, which is setting a whole bunch of traps and slowly chipping away at your opponent's board. All very fun. We also do have Torrential in here, which did win me a game very handily. So yeah, Torrential's also just like a big board wipe. It's not nearly as good as it used to be, or like in this deck, but it's fairly decent as well. But yeah, all in all, very fun decks across the board, and I just thoroughly enjoy this event once again. Gotta mention that. I think it's a very fun mechanic, or gimmick, right? With all the solo mode decks and all of that jazz. So, very fun, very enjoyable. I think Crusadia is still playable, but like I haven't seen it at all. So, there's that. Anyway, I'm gonna call it quits there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.